welcome once again to another episode of the Random Access Podcast, brought to you by rapodcast.net. This is episode 792, recorded live on May the 4th, be with you, 2024. And here are your hosts, the man who hopefully isn't going to be confused by my intro today, Dave Play.
It's the 4th. Well, don't forget that tomorrow is Revenge of the 5th.
Well, the man who's also just got a single beverage in front of him, Andy Lowe. Hi.
I have a single beverage, too.
I hunted down and was able to actually acquire the the new, that Baja Blast that we didn't do last time. But instead, you know how I did that Sprite with all the limes, because who knew there were that many limes?
There's a lot of limes, apparently.
Yes.
But there were like 28 different varieties of finger limes.
But I was able to acquire another bottle of the Baja Point Break Punch. So this is what I'm going to be drinking for this evening. So I didn't want to confuse you by saying I had a new beverage, because it's an old new beverage.
It's an old new beverage, or is it a new old beverage?
Well, it is new to me. It is unopened, so technically it would be a new beverage. But then it is also an old beverage, because we had pointed out about it a couple of weeks ago, but I had not actually sampled it on air.
Okay.
Wow, this smells like Hawaiian Punch. Wow. You know, I like it. It's got that. It's not a heavy, syrupy fruit punch, but it's light.
Mm-hmm.
God, this has been a pain in the butt trying to find. I just don't know if there's like a problem with my local Mountain Dew distributor, but I have not been able to find either of these on the shelves at the major supermarkets. Like none of them. No Meijer, no Walmart, no Harding's, which is our local one, no D&W, which is our Spartan brand one. Nobody has had these on the shelves. And I'm like, but I see them all the time, like people talking about them, but I never actually have seen them. So I don't know.
I don't know.
Have you seen these out in the wild at all, David, during your shopping, or no?
The Mountain Dews?
Yeah.
I haven't. Andy, I will have to be honest with you. The last time I went into the soda aisle was weeks ago. Possibly months ago.
Well, I normally don't even go shopping anymore.
Do you just do the order?
Curbside pickup, yep.
Curbside pickup. That's got to be really nice with two kids.
Oh, yeah. No, I get home from work because, you know, I work from home. So I'm out traveling in the work vehicle. I get home. I just park it in the driveway. I pop out with the Outback and I open up the app and I just say, I'm on my way.
Yep.
15 minutes, you know, I park there, and it's normally anywhere from 5 minutes to, recently I had one that was 25 minutes, which was that was a bit long, going like, where the heck is my groceries? But they gave me a $20 discount on my next order for being late. So I was like, well, I can't complain too much. You realized you guys screwed up, and you gave me a $20 discount on my next grocery order, so I'll be okay with that. And then they'll just, you know, I've got the Outback, so they don't even have to like really talk to me. I just see the guy just wheel behind my car, park his little cart, and I can open
the back door,
because the lift gate is automatic.
Yeah.
So it will automatically open. He'll just lean in and be like, hey, this is my name. Here's my order. They're like, awesome. They just throw
puts all the stuff in.
Yep. Puts all the stuff in. And he says, you're good to go. And I'm like, thank you. And I hit the button and it automatically closes. And then I'm on my way. It's also convenient that there is, it'd be even more convenient because there is 2 Pokestops and a gym at that Meijer. But
nice.
They are just a smidge too far away.
Oh no!
But there's still a lot of Pokemon in the area.
Because it's near the stops in the gym?
Yes. So I can normally catch a good amount. But yeah, it'd be even super convenient if I was close enough to get to at least one of the gyms or the stops, just so I could spin it while I'm sitting there. But just a smidge too far away. It's like, oh.
Laura just messaged and said that the last time I was in the soda aisle was when I got the sugar-based Coca-Cola, the kosher Coke.
Ah, yes.
And that would have been in early April, and I did not go in the soda aisle for those. They were in a slightly different part of the store. So it has been at least a month.
Well, I found out
yes
that Sam's Clubs has a 36-pack of the cans of Baja Blast.
Uh-oh.
So I have
Andy,
gotten...
when do you drink your Mountain Dew normally? Because you have coffee in the morning. I know you have coffee in the morning. You talked about your Stanley coffee thing.
Yes, where I drink my 1.5 liters of coffee over the day.
Which is a lot of coffee.
Yes, I have weakened my coffee. Okay. I have weakened it. I am down to just 40 grams of actual ground coffee rather than the 50, which is what I'm supposed to be putting in for the amount of water for 1.5 liters.
I will, tomorrow when I make my coffee, I will tell you how many grams of ground coffee I use.
Because for 1.5 liters, I'm supposed to use 50 grams. Yeah. That's what everybody has said for the water to coffee ratio.
I use a Keurig.
Okay.
That's how much coffee I use. What I can fit in a Keurig container.
So I've cut that down to 40, and I'm probably going to cut that down a little bit more, probably down to like 35. Mm-hmm. Just because, there were a couple.
You could just take a caffeine tablet, like. You can get those.
I know, but it's the flavor that helps, right?
Maybe
it's part of the ritual is that aroma of the coffee.
The smell of coffee is really good.
Mm-hmm. Just like the smell of this Mountain Dew is really good. But this Mountain Dew is also 280 calories for a 20-ouncer. My 1.5 liters of coffee is just 75. Yeah, it's coffee. Well, I've got the pump for creamer. Mm-hmm. Each pump is 25 calories. So it's about 75 calories for 1.5 liters.
Okay.
So, it's I feel like the aroma is part of the thing there. Like, I could drink the water, but then it just...
I mean, I hate just drinking water, honestly.
Yeah, I've got a giant... Well, but we've talked about it on this podcast. My giant liter of water. My water bottle that's got all the times on the side that I used to follow until I started drinking coffee instead. Which would be fine until there was mornings like today where I woke up and I'm like, I am dehydrated. I need water. And then, of course, I had to go out and my kids ran a 1K fun run this morning.
Neat.
But yeah, except the kids wanted me to run with them. And I'm just like, okay. And they do not know how to pace. So Isaac just booked it out of the starting gate. And I am just trying to keep up. And he gets about 0.5 kilometer and then he has to slow down and walk. And I'm sitting there just going like, oh boy. Oh, I did not mean to wake up and do a 0.5 kilometer sprint this morning. That was not part of my plan.
Yep.
And then 30 seconds later he gets his wind back in him and all of a sudden he's just off again and I'm like, all right, hold on. I got it.
Oh, Andy, how are your legs?
I will sleep well tonight. We'll put it that way.
Okay. I did a little bit of, I guess, physical and mental work yesterday.
Okay, that was Friday. I hope you did some mental work at work.
Well, so I went to a friend's and we played an escape room, which was a lot of fun. Very similar to the board game that you had, except this was entirely digital.
Oh, okay.
But I may have driven my car off the side of his parking area with a 8-inch drop. So the car was resting on its axle.
Oh, no.
Yep. So then we had to figure out how to get the car out.
Because I'm guessing you had...
front-wheel drive.
Yeah, you have a front-wheel drive vehicle. And it's probably... Because if you have one wheel off the ground, your differential's just going to pump all the power to that wheel.
To that one wheel, yep. So the other wheel, just wasn't moving. And that front wheel was just, spinning freely.
Yep. Well, you could either put something under the wheel if you had a bunch of stuff there, or you could, you probably don't have a tow strap either, because you could kind of tow strap the wheel so it doesn't spin and therefore forces power to the other wheel, but you probably didn't have that.
Did not have a tow strap.
So you probably had to build some sort of platform under that freestanding wheel in order to give it any grip on something, right?
Right. Okay. Except that the car is resting on the axle.
Well, you have a jack with you, don't you? 8 inches though. I don't know if the trunk jacks would go that high, would they?
So we did have a jack.
Okay.
But because the car is partially off and it's on that angle, you can't get the jack under the part of the car that you need to get it under.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna have to jack at the jack points, which you wouldn't be able to get to.
Could not fit the jack under the jack point.
And
So we did an escape room for 2 hours, and then we did an escape room. And the real escape room involved using the jack like 6 times. The solution, you are right on the solution on get something under the wheel. And we tried a couple ways to do that. What we eventually settled on was jack the car up from like way far back. And like we didn't even get the car, the axle off the rocks on the first attempt. But we took enough pressure off of it that like we could force more stuff under the wheel. And so then we lowered the car.
Granted, how many people did you have with you?
Me and 2 other people.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, depending on how many people were actually in the escape room with you, you probably could have just had enough people to lift the car up.
This was a virtual escape room. It was 3 people.
Yeah, that would...
We are all nerds.
Yeah, probably not.
No, we tried. We did not manage to lift the Prius at all. But we jacked it up, we got some stuff under the wheel, and then we let the car down, and then we were able to move the jack forward by like 3 inches, and then repeat.
Oh boy.
And then repeat.
Oh boy.
And then repeat. And then we had enough stuff under the wheel that like it was high enough that when we set the car back down, it was not resting on the axle, and we built a small ramp because... Even with the wheel on all this stuff, it still would have backed up into this like flat wall bump. So we built a little ramp and then it backed up and it just went right back over it.
Trying to think if do you have any sort of donut spare? You probably don't in the Prius, do you?
I mean, there's a spare tire.
Oh, there is?
Yeah. Why do you think I had a jack?
Well, that is true. There have been. Well,
I would not have a jack if there wasn't a spare tire in there because, I'm not buying a jack for the car.
Well, there was this my dad and I, last few times we had been to the auto show, my dad and I played the game.
Is there a spare?
Yes. We played the game, Is There a Spare? Because a lot of the electric vehicles and hybrids and everybody else trying to cut down on weight would not put even a donut spare in there.
Yep.
There would be a can.
Both of my parents, there is no spare tire.
There is a can of Fix-A-Flat is what they had put in as your thing there. And I'm just like, oh, so
instead of changing out your tire for a good one, you ruin your tire.
Yes, you ruin your tire in order to go and replace it with a new tire rather than possibly fixing your tire.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I don't even know if my work truck, it should have a spare. I don't know where it is. I should probably check that on my work truck at some point.
Is that not one of the first things you do with like a new car?
Well, it is a 2014 Ford Expedition that has 97,226 miles on it right now because I have to do my mileage for it every day.
Yeah.
So it should have already been replaced due to its age. Mm-hmm. But as long as I drive another 2,500 miles on it and it hits 100,000, it's supposed to be replaced. It gets like 2 strikes against it right there. So I'm supposed to be having a new vehicle at some point, but for some reason, just there is some sort of backlog on vehicles.
Gee, almost like maybe production slowed down for 3 years.
Yep. And I'm supposed to actually now, instead of getting, because I have an Explorer or an Expedition that they just removed the back seats out of and put in one of those like slidey trays.
Yeah.
So it's basically a pickup, but it's in the body of an Expedition. The next car I'm supposed to get is supposed to be a Chevy, an actual Chevy truck. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's weird. Because Ford used to have a lock on police vehicles. Ford just used to be the go-to standard. And for some reason, it's now Chevys and Dodges now. Because the big ones are Chevy Tahoes, and the little ones, they're even getting away from the Chargers, and they're going to Durangos now for the smaller vehicles.
Okay.
Which is, it's so weird. Everybody talks about it. It's like, yeah, no, they just, for literally decades, it always used to be Fords. And all of a sudden they're just like, nope, we're done.
I wonder what happened.
I don't know. Somebody somewhere, I guess, didn't, either Ford wasn't willing to put something forward. Oh, I think they did. I think they tried to put forward their Interceptor platform, and it was bad, I think. This is all way before my time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now Durangos and Tahoes are now going to be the new vehicles for police until the governor's all-electric fleet requirement starts to kick in. And I'll be very curious to see where we go from there. But that is not on our topic list.
No. What is on our topic list, Andy?
Well, I got some Monday. So by the time this is already, by the time it gets uploaded, most likely this will have already happened. But Starliner actually rolled out to the launch pad. Today. Is
this for a wet rehearsal? Is this for?
This is the crew flight test.
The crew flight test.
Yes.
Who are the lucky astronauts to go up on a?
Let's see.
Mostly, god damn, that's got to be so nerve-wracking.
Butch Wilmore, U.S. Navy test pilot. So these are veteran NASA astronauts, and former U.S. Navy test pilot Butch Wilmore will command the mission, and Suni Williams will be the pilot.
Okay.
So yes, former NASA astronauts and former Navy test pilots, they're probably used to doing, testing.
Really dangerous shit.
Yep. So yeah, it rolled out to the launch pad today. The launch window opens at 10:34 p.m. on May 7th.
10:34 p.m.?
10:34 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern
so it's 9:30
time.
Here.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when the launch window
7th,
opens.
So Tuesday.
Yes.
Well, normally I'd be at Pathfinder, but that game is on hiatus, so I could watch that.
So yeah, it will be on the NASA television stream. So
yep, and probably 6 other streams being rebroadcast. So It's on the pad.
Yep, it is on the pad, ready to go. So we'll see how this
be
goes.
The second thing to launch people into space from the United States privately in a long time.
Yes. Boeing's first flight in December 2019, that was where we had all these Starliner glitches and everything else. And then COVID happened, and then Starliner finally made the second the uncrewed test flight on May 2022. And of course, SpaceX has sent 12 crewed missions to the ISS since 2020.
In that meantime.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, I wish them the best of luck.
Yes. No, Boeing needs all the luck they can.
Seriously, the best of luck.
Yes.
Yeah, Boeing's in a little... Did you hear about the second whistleblower?
Oh, no. Another one? Jeez.
Another whistleblower found dead?
Oh, dead?
Dead under, shall we say, mysterious circumstances.
I know you probably didn't hear that, but no joke. When you said dead, and I repeated dead, there was suddenly a roll of thunder happening outside my house. I'm not sure if it came through on the audio, but
I didn't hear anything.
It was like, dead? Dead? Like I could feel it rolling through the house. I'm like, oh my goodness, that was ominous. That was highly poetic. I'm wondering how bad this rain is going to be. I felt that.
Well, let's go check the lightning tracker.
Oh my goodness. That is a lot of yellow and red on the radar.
Oh, it's south of you.
It's south of me?
The bulk of the storm
there
is way south. It's over the border.
Are you looking at the same... What radar are you looking at?
I'm looking at the active thunder strikes. Lightningmaps.org.
Okay, lightningmaps.org. Oh, hey, there are I'm seeing lightning strikes in my county.
Yeah, there are. In fact, I see the one that you probably just heard not too long ago.
Yeah, I see that.
You're about to hear 2 more, actually.
Oh, yeah, no, 3. I just saw 3 of them go. Oh, that's great. Yeah, is that the actual...
That's the estimated thunder. Come on, I've shown you this map, right?
No.
I haven't shown you this yet?
I think I remember one of the broadcast engineers was telling me about this because we had a transmitter after a thunderstorm rolled through that just basically lost its mind. And I think he brought up this one because because this has a historical feature, right?
I have no idea.
He brought up something that had a historical feature, and he actually brought up lightning strikes from like the previous 24 hours, and there were a couple
and one of them
them
had like hit the transmitter.
Pretty much, it looked like it was like the little dot was basically on top of where we were, and I'm just like, oh, yep. Okay.
So in the top right of lightningmaps.org, there's the buttons for like settings and location. Yes?
Yes.
The one that has an antenna.
Yes, I see that. Okay.
Hover over it.
Yeah, okay. So lines, stations, and coverage. Oh, well, that's fancy.
Coverage is going to be the entire U.S.
Yeah, I see that. Wow, there are a lot of lightning. Oh, I don't know. So blue is best, green is still very good, and red means lower accuracy. I see a lot of red around me.
For what?
For the amount of lightning detectors.
Ah.
Man, Texas is getting lit up literally right now.
Oh, Houston just had a huge storm roll through. Oh, wow.
Yeah, look, if you're looking down in Texas right now.
Jeez. The thing with the Texas one is like, if you look at the stations that are picking those up, the lightning strikes in Texas are being detected by things in like Regina, Saskatchewan.
You know what's nice is it has been basically a year since I started the new job.
Yep.
At the old job, I would be worried about something like a storm like this rolling through because I'd be like, oh, great. Something's going to happen. Something's going to lose power.
Something's going to go off you'll get a silence alert or you're going to lose power at one site or...
I don't have to
care.
Worry. Yeah, don't care.
Now, on the other side, if you were still at your old job, you could probably get your towers to act as detectors for this.
Yeah, but why?
Because it's cool.
Well, yeah, I know. But I might even still be able to convince the state to do that.
That's true.
I mean, it's like we have, I think most of our towers that we have are like 400 feet high.
Well,
some are down on the 200-foot range, but some of them are freaking tall.
Then you can probably get them to act as detectors.
Probably. It'd be something to run up the chain, just to be curious to see if they agree or not.
Be like, hey, do we have this? I mean, there are some detectors in Michigan. There gotta be. Maybe not. Looks like the detectors are out in Ohio, just outside of Toledo.
There's one up in Rockford, it looks like. Yeah. Rockford, Ferndale, Taylor, Waterville, it looks like. If I'm reading that correctly or no?
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay.
Oh, the Rockford one's probably the Grand Rapids weather station, I'm guessing. No, it's right next to the Silver Lake Country Club. What the heck is it doing over there?
I don't know, but you just got a bunch more lightning strikes.
Yep, no, I can hear them.
I can hear them. Your microphone definitely picked those up.
Yeah, it's becoming ominous outside right now. So
okay, well then we should probably talk about more topics before we lose power.
One of those Megan's sheep has got a supposedly it's like a noise thing.
Yeah,
and
did the lightning just set it off?
The thunder just set off Megan's sheep.
Oops.
Which is funny because I think her white noise is rain, so that the thunder.
It's already raining.
Yeah, it's raining right now, and the thunder just set off more rain. Right. So yeah, Boning is supposed to launch on Tuesday. So hopefully that
Tuesday
will go.
Night.
Yes, Tuesday night. So hopefully that will go off without a problem. Other space news, there was actually a massive solar flare that happened on the 30th.
Okay.
That happened at 7:46 p.m. Eastern time and basically caused most of the Pacific region to have radio blackouts.
Oops.
This was almost a normally you have a rating of 1 to 10 for a flare's relative strength. This flare clocked in at 9.53. So this was almost a top level.
What does that scale look like? Is it logarithmic? Is it like...
let's see.
Is 10, like, is it asymptotic to 10, where 10 would be like, the sun explodes?
Similar to a Richter scale for earthquakes, each letter represents a 10-fold increase in energy output. Okay, so there's a letter actually attached. So this was an M 9.53. Okay, so there is B is the lowest, And then there is C, and then M, and then X, which is the largest. X is 10 times an M, and 100 times a C, and 1,000 times a B. So yeah, there's your scale.
So it's logarithmic. It's 10 times each time.
Yes.
But then what does the number mean?
There is a finer scale from 1 to 9.
Okay.
So C-class flares
1 to 10.
Yeah. C-class flares are too weak to be noticeable effect on Earth. M-class flares can cause brief radio blackouts at the poles and minor radiation storms that might endanger astronauts.
So is M10 X1?
Yes.
So this was almost an X.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I see it's being called a near X. Looks like it basically just hit the Pacific Ocean and a little bit of the West Coast.
But it's still fascinating that the fact that, solar flare, the amount that we care about, wireless signals, can still knock us for a loop. It looks like...
Andy, I mean, like the first nuclear detonation in an actual nuclear war is not going to be on the surface, right?
No, it's going to be in the air.
It's going to be way up in the air.
Yep.
Because you're going to charge up an EMP and knock out half the grid.
Yeah.
Our grid is still quite vulnerable to EMP, which is effectively what this is.
Fun fact, it looks like the most powerful flare on record overloaded the sensor's measuring it. They stopped measuring at X17. But the flare was later estimated to be about an X45.
Oh my god. That one didn't actually hit the Earth, right?
2003 is when it happened.
Because the thing with the solar flares is like, they're not all going to hit us.
No, this one...
It has to be a solar flare on the side facing the Earth.
Yes.
On the ecliptic,
Yeah, no, this one seemed to be pretty well aimed at us. It wasn't a direct hit, but still.
Yeah.
But yeah, solar maximum is coming up, so that should be great.
It's an 11-year cycle?
Yes.
Okay. It's a big-ass flare.
We are currently in solar cycle 25. Is
that since they've been recording it?
I guess so, yes. Yeah. So began in December 2019 and is currently ramping up for maximum in 2024. Hey, look at that.
And right on time.
Yep.
Big ass solar flare.
So I just
Where's
thought that
Parker?
was...
Where's Parker? Is it by Venus at this point?
Peter Parker?
The Parker solar probe.
The what probe?
Andy?
Yes. Have we talked about this?
Yes. Yes, we've talked about the Parker solar probe.
Oh, look at that. There's a solar probe out there.
Yes. Andy, we've talked about this. I know we've talked about this. We've watched the trajectory. This is the solar probe that we launched that we keep slingshotting around Venus to slow it down even more every time. And it's gotten closer to the sun. It's basically been inside the sun at this point. Where is PSP? Where's the Parker solar probe? It is basically at the... It's about to be at the furthest from the sun that it will be for the rest of its life.
Let's see, 7 years and launched in 2018. Wow. Okay. So it's almost done.
Yeah. It's getting close to its end of life. But I was just thinking that it gets really, really close to the sun. And if there's a giant solar flare, it could potentially fuck up the probe.
Oh, well, that was nice. The guy who was named after it, Eugene Parker, actually got to see the probe get launched and actually got to meet it in the White Room.
Neat.
It's a picture of Parker standing next to Parker. Well, that was it. That's an adorable photo right there.
Yeah, it's about to start swinging in back to the sun.
Well, other satellite news, and this one I haven't figured out yet. I'm still trying to understand it, is there is a Hubble network which somehow was able to make a Bluetooth connection with a satellite from the ground. The company confirmed that it has received signals from the onboard 3.5 millimeter Bluetooth chips on the satellites from over 600 kilometers away.
My phone disconnects from Bluetooth when I walk out of the room. What is this bullshit magic?
That's what I read this and I'm like, how? But how? The co-founder said that the first time he was presented with the idea of connecting a Bluetooth chip to a satellite, his initial reaction was no freaking way.
Yeah.
And it does sound crazy, especially as consumer electronics can struggle to connect to other Bluetooth-enabled devices that are just a few feet away. Yes, I agree. So how?
Magic. How, Andy? How?
Something about a lot of software and a patented
really
phased
strong antenna.
A phased array antenna that is on the satellite. Which, okay, so if you have a high phased antenna, you're going to be very selective about where it can see on the ground, right?
Maybe. I mean, a phased antenna is just a lot of little tiny antennas.
I know, which you're going to... If
I'm understanding that correctly.
Yeah, you're going to be focusing... You're basically taking something that's very omnidirectional and you're focused... It's just like the flashlights, right? You turn the beam. Mm-hmm. The flashlight gets stronger and stronger, but the beam itself shrinks in size.
Is that what a phased antenna is?
I do. If I remember my antenna theory correctly, it was explained to me, and I said, sure, I just understood it enough to pass my general ham license test. That was about it.
Okay. So my understanding of a phased antenna is it's a bunch of little antennas that are all hooked up to the same transmitter with a phase shift on each antenna, and that it's computer controlled. So the computer can change the phase shift as it needs it to, which means that your like array of antenna can interfere with each other and constructively and destructively interfere to point the antenna effectively.
Yes. Okay, so it's the same way with a multi-antenna AM array. Because there was lots of phases and amplifications that everything had to be tuned correctly in order for your massive antennas to cancel each other out in the correct null locations. There was a phasing cabinet filled with lots of capacitors and inductors. Okay, yeah. So, yes. So the things could be focused like a flashlight. Hey, look at that again. I still don't understand how the consumer grade stuff will be able to contact the satellites. It'd probably be outdoor sort of stuff, hopefully, but I don't know. But supposedly somebody said they were able to get
a Bluetooth connection from a satellite.
Yes.
Cool.
Which they got up there because of the SpaceX rideshare missions.
Where SpaceX was like, we got a little extra space.
Yep. Once again, SpaceX disrupting the rocket launch business.
A little bit.
All right, what else? What's piquing your...
to be nationalized.
Yep. What's piquing your interest on the list now?
What is piquing my interest? Hit the sodium-ion batteries.
Yes, actually,
those are supposed to be like huge.
They're really not, actually, and it turns out that the manufacturing of these ones is actually in Holland, Michigan. I've driven by this factory multiple times and didn't even know it.
I may have driven past it as well. So sodium ion is basically just moving us off of lithium, because lithium is shockingly rare.
Yes.
For the metal with the lowest atomic number, shockingly rare. How is it? I mean, I guess because you need metallic lithium in a purified form. Mm-hmm. Does that even occur naturally?
I don't know. And the lithium deposits on Earth are not very big, and not in...
No, and not here.
No, not here.
And lithium mining is terrible.
Yep.
Because you have to strip mine.
Yes. Something like that.
Lithium mines. Pictures. Google image lithium mine. Holy shit. Yeah, it's just a strip mine. You just make a crater, and you make it a bigger and bigger and bigger crater. Oh, even cool. So to get the lithium, you have to put it through phased purification.
Oh, even better.
You probably have to crystallize it, don't you? Motherfucker. This shit's bad. Sodium, however, shockingly available. Oh, this poor planet. Okay. So what about sodium ion batteries, other than like engineers have figured out that we can do it?
Well, these guys are actually creating it so they can actually manufacture it on a grand scale.
Okay.
Right now, the sodium ion batteries are about at 70 watt hours per kilogram, which is kind of on the low end in the energy density scale. But these guys have said, hey, these are not going to be, these are... because AI is, the big sucker up of power right now. So these are basically, they're saying, hey, data centers, things that don't move.
Could build a giant battery.
Yes.
Did I tell you that when I took the tour of the facilities at work, they talked about the storage tanks that they have of diesel fuel?
No, but I don't doubt it.
Do you want to guess the gallon capacity of diesel?
Oh, is that for your whole campus or no?
It's for the data center.
It's probably probably 50,000 gallon tank.
I think it was somewhere up there.
Yeah.
I want to say it was only like 16,000 gallons, but it might be more. It might have been 60,000 gallons. It's huge.
There was actually, I'm still part of the Society of Broadcast Engineers email chain, just because they're like, it doesn't cost anything to stay on the email chain, so we're just going to leave you on there. I'm like, sure, no problem. There, Steeplechase? No, what was the name of that? There's a data center up in Grand Rapids, and they actually just did a tour. What was the name? Come on, where is the course? If I try, Switch has a data center up in Grand Rapids at some place called the Pyramid. I don't know, is there a pyramid up in Grand Rapids? Well, let's see. Grand Rapids Pyramid. Let's see if that's a thing. Hey, it is. No, there's a bar called the Pyramid Scheme. That's not it. The data center is not a bar.
Wait. There's a bar called the Pyramid Scheme?
Yes.
What is it? If you get a friend to show up, you get a free drink?
That would be hilarious. Oh, this used to be the Steelcase headquarters, and it looks like a pyramid. Okay. Now it's actually Switch has a data center there. Okay. So they had just taken a tour of that there, and they said there was a lot of things that we couldn't see, or we could see from a far distance away. I was like, oh, that would have been fun to actually take a tour of, but of course, wasn't able to take time off to go see that. But yeah, no, that's an impressive setup there. But yeah, no, this factory in Holland is going to try and make 600 megawatts of these batteries annually. So,
I mean, that's great. I hope we can get the tech just a little further and start putting this in your phone. The batteries for data centers is cool, sure, but is that where all the lithium is going right now?
I don't know. Let's see. Lithium ion. I'm just curious what the lithium ion watt hours per kilogram is right now. Let's see. Researchers have gotten it up to over 700 watt hours a kilogram. Oh, that's a bit higher.
Yeah. So we're a third-ish of the way there.
Let's see.
Because they're saying 200 watt hours.
Yes. 200 watt hours per kilogram puts us at about 2005 levels of lithium ion batteries. For the average lithium ion, 2005 was right around 200 watt hours per kilogram. So we'll see. But if it's better for the environment and cheaper, and they say it's they have charge and discharge rates are 10 times faster than lithium ion, and lifespan is 50,000 cycles. So that could be interesting. But yes, no, people are actually building these things now. So Sony is looking to spend $26 billion to buy Paramount.
Before you said to buy Paramount, I'm like, okay, they can give it to me. They're just looking to spend $26 billion. Sure, I'll take it. I don't think their shareholders will be happy about that, but I'll take it.
Nope. It will be Sony and a private equity group called Apollo Global Management. Oh, private equity firm, huh?
Yeah. Because those have been so good for anyone who doesn't own a private equity firm.
I don't know how I'd feel about Sony Pictures and Paramount Pictures combining. So there would be just
isn't Paramount CBS.
Who owns Paramount Pictures now?
CBS, because that's Paramount Plus.
Paramount Global is the parent company. Company was formed in 2019 as Viacom CBS through a merger of CBS. Okay, yep. So yeah, that's CBS. Owned by National Amusements. The theater company owns Paramount? Really? Oh, they own 9.7% of equity, but have 79.9% voting power. So, okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Sony Pictures and Paramount Pictures. So what would that be? What does Paramount own nowadays?
So the big 5 movie studios right now.
Yeah.
Universal, Paramount, Warner Brothers, Disney, and Sony. So
those would combine 2 of the top 5.
It would combine 2 of the top 5.
I don't like that.
I feel like would this be something that the FTC could complain about?
Yeah, Paramount's a U.S. company. But do you think that the FTC, the current FTC, would, given what they've allowed to happen?
I don't know. Oh, jeez. 80 to 85% of the U.S. box office revenue is through these 5 companies. Wow. Well, 3 TV stations was originally. So, all right, let's see what the market share is for... Sony Pictures market share is 11.26%, and Paramount Pictures market share is 9.55%. So you'd be taking number 4 and number 5 out of the top 5 and combining them.
Would they still be number 4, or would they hop up to 3?
Hold on. Let me break out the calculator. Unless you want to tell me what 11.26 plus 9.55 is.
20 and a half.
20.81.
Yeah.
Which would put them 3rd.
See, when T-Mobile and Sprint merged, it was the I think it was, again, the 4th and 5th. It might have been the 3rd and 4th. But, they didn't jump up. They were just, it's still the same one. This is different. This is, yep, you're 2 smaller ones, but you'd be bigger than one of the big ones.
You would be almost, NBC Universal is at 21.77. Walt Disney is at 21.26. And this would be at 20.8-ish. So this would put you right on the same level as Universal and Walt Disney.
I don't think Sony needs that much power.
Yeah.
Sony, let's put out a Spider-Man movie every couple of years and a Fantastic Four reboot every couple of years so we can keep that IP. Oh, that was Fox. Never mind. Fox did that with Fantastic Four.
Yes. Sony just said, oh, you guys want to make a Spider-Man movie? Okay, give us money.
There's a little more to it than that.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot more to it than that. Remember, there was that period of several months where Sony was like, nope, we're done. And Marvel was like, what do you mean we're done? We have plans. And Sony's like, too bad. We fulfilled the original contract. Spider-Man is ours. Go away. And Marvel was like, but money. And Sony was like, give us more.
And then Sony distributed Morbius and such. And
yeah, well, there is that. It's Morbin time.
God, I can't believe I actually watched that movie.
Me either.
Well, you actually brought up Sony. There is another Sony topic on here. What's going on here with Helldivers? I thought that was a PC game.
It is a multi-platform game.
Oh, okay.
And what so I don't have Helldivers. I'm only tangentially aware of this because it was just clogging up my news feeds. And the topic that I posted isn't actually about what happened. It was the consequence of that, which is that Helldivers 2, which was a incredibly popular game, out of nowhere, oh my god, super popular, to the point of where their servers were basically on fire the first couple of weeks because they did not realize how popular this would be because Helldivers 1 was not that popular. So they had grossly misscaled their infrastructure, grossly misscaled. But Sony has made a change somewhere that everyone who's playing this game, because the game is on the PSN network and can communicate with the PSN network, that everyone, including Steam players, has to have a PlayStation Network sign-in.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Helldivers 2 wants you to link your Steam account with a PlayStation Network one, with Sony reminding players it was a grace period. And now Arrowhead, who's the company that made Helldivers, is saying that Sony, like, secretly changed the terms of the agreement without telling them.
What?
Yeah, it's really messy.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that.
The game is now officially negatively reviewed. Which sucks, because, like, Arrowhead is a good studio. They are absolutely on, like, the player's side. They are trying to stay communicative. They're trying to keep people in the loop on what's going on. They're trying to tell the players, like, hey, here's what's happening. Here's the discussions we're having. And Sony just fucking screwed everything.
Once again, I feel like going on this. What did Sony? I feel like we're calling back.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. They've been doing good for so long. I forgot that was a thing. There was months of that.
How did Sony screw up this time?
How did Sony screw up this time? That was absolutely a thing. That was back with, like, the PlayStation 3 and 4?
I think so.
I think that was back at the PS4. How did Sony screw up this time? Wow. Good callback.
I'm here for my obscure knowledge.
Jesus. All right.
Yep. Sorry about that. That was a deep cut.
Yep.
For those of you who have been around. Yeah. Wow.
By the way, I'm watching speaking of Sony, sort of tangentially, because it's not actually Sony at all, it's Amazon. I've been watching the Fallout TV show. It's really good.
Well, I will have to see if I can't get some time to watch that. Still need to finish Resident Alien, and then Bridgerton is going to be coming out soon, so I got to double check up on that one, and so many things. Not enough time.
No.
All right. Do you want to talk about a piece of AI news or no?
Sure.
Well,
always up for AI news.
Well, the Air Force just put a F-16 fighter jet in the control of a piece of AI.
Okay. Like, they handed an AI control of an F-16?
Yep, and they had, no joke, the Air Force secretary flying in the plane while the AI, riding in the plane while the AI flew it.
That's a confident secretary.
Yep.
I mean, makes sense. It's not like it's a full general AI that's gonna be like, I have the secretary in my cockpit. I'm gonna, like, hold him hostage. Like, that's not a thing.
No, this was the AI control F-16. It was called Vista. Flew him at maneuvers. It went nearly nose to nose with a second human pilot F-16 as both aircraft raced within 1,000 feet of each other, twisting and looping to try to force their opponent into vulnerable positions. So it was basically just trying to do a dogfight test against an actual human.
Who won?
So, it does not say.
Well, that's not helpful.
I don't know. Either way, would that be good that it won, or would it be good that it lost?
Probably better to lose in this case.
Oh, it flew its first...
I'd kind of prefer that the humans are better at piloting ships.
Let's see. Vista flew its first AI-controlled dogfight in September 2023, and there have only been about 24 similar flights since. But the programs are learning so quickly from each other and in each engagement that some AI versions are getting tested on Vista are already beating human pilots in air-to-air combat.
Well, crap. There goes that.
Yep. China supposedly has AI, but they have it only in simulators and not in actual vehicles. So, they run the data in the simulator, and then once again, you do a real world test, and then the real world data is fed back into the simulator where the AI can, learn from it. So they say China's halfway there, but they haven't gotten the real world tests done yet. But here we are in the US running tests in the real world in F-16s. So that is interesting. The Air Force secretary says it's a security risk not to have it. At this point, we have to have it, he said.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong, but yeah, no, I agree.
I just don't like it. What's the line from The Big Lebowski? You're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole. You're not wrong, secretary. It just sucks.
Well, OpenAI is going to actually supposedly going to have a announcement next week about some sort of ChatGPT based search engine.
Cool.
So we'll see how that is. I've been noticing that I've been getting more and more of the generative AI results from my Google searches.
Yeah.
They have been very hit and miss.
They're generally okay for me.
Okay. But I guess, yeah, OpenAI wants to do something. And of course, Sam Altman is just, spouting his mouth off saying, oh, this is going to be the worst that AI will ever be. So.
Well, Sam Altman needs to
stop talking.
Yeah.
So they're going to be suggesting some sort of ChatGPT search thing. Supposedly, it's been leaked. It's going to be announced on the 9th. So we shall see.
Yeah,
because,
9th
of course,
is around the corner.
Yeah, OpenAI is very... I mean, their video thing, that came out of nowhere and blew everything else out of the water. So I don't know. We will have to see what they want to do. All right. Anything else, or do you want to hit the randoms?
I think we can hit the randoms.
Okay. My random review is a game from, I think, 2016.
Okay.
I got it free from the Epic Games Store during their, random, hey, free games, which I just got to remember.
I mean, it's not random. They do it every week.
Yeah. So, free game once a week. So I picked up one called Infinifactory, and I was like, ooh, factories. I like factories.
Says the guy who doesn't like to play Factorio. Literally a factory. The whole point of the game is that the factory must grow.
Oh, I might have to get that.
Infinifactory. Infinifactory. That is, I've looked at that.
It is.
Who makes that?
Zachtronics makes it.
Zachtronics makes it.
If that name sounds familiar, it's because as we reviewed Space Chem many, many years ago on this podcast, it is the same company. This is basically the spiritual successor to Space Chem, where you have, just like Space Chem, you have a small limited area, and you have individual components, and you have to, in this case, weld the components together in very specific shapes, or destroy them, or, do something to them, and then put them in an output, and you solve the level.
Right.
And of course,
eventually your factories become elements of a level, I presume.
I don't know. I am in 1, 2. I'm almost done with section 3, and I do believe there are 7 or 8 sections in there. There's like 50 plus puzzles in total, and I'm barely halfway through. I'm starting to get to some of the levels where you have to destroy things, and they have everything runs on conveyor belts. Everything is a conveyor belt, and they have blocks that are pushers. They have blocks that are blockers that are the opposite of a pusher.
Blocks that are the opposite of a pusher. A puller?
Well, they extend until there's a sensor. There's a sensor block. So if there's a block next to the sensor block, it will send a signal, and you've got these conduit tubes, which are wires. So if something hits the sensor, it can push or pull or rotate or do lots of different things. So yes, it is lots of factories. I have done things with basically like AND gates or gates I've set up in a couple of times. But it's interesting. The funny story is supposedly you get abducted by aliens while you're driving some sort of pickup through the no-name place, and then you're forced
to make a factory?
Yes, for these alien overlords.
Why aren't you playing Factorio? Is it because it's like modular? It's do this level. It's build this one thing.
I think it's the modular aspect of Infinifactory that I enjoy. It's the smaller puzzles.
Because like in Factorio, I'm dealing with that right now. I'm at the point in the game where I have a rail network set up. So like my puzzles are cool. I've expanded to this land. I need to produce grenades. Like I just need as many grenades as I can produce, assuming an infinite input. I'll take care of the input later because I can always make more mines and more refineries. So like assume infinite input, make as many grenades as you can in the most efficient space possible.
Is that a defined goal though, or is that a goal that you made up?
Well, my goal is to produce as much science as possible. That is the overarching goal. Launch a rocket, you produce science, produce as much science as you can. So I'm working on military science, which is made up of walls, grenades, and ammunition.
Yeah, that it seems too open-ended for me.
Okay. You want the level to say, you're working on grenades.
Yes. There was one where it's like, okay, you have this drone that has broken pieces. There is there is a part in this factory that will destroy pieces. And then you have to put the new pieces into this thing, and then weld it all together. But, the contingency is the fact that this drone is on a conveyor belt that you cannot modify. And so it will keep going from one end to the other end of the level without stopping unless you do something to it to make it stop, i.e. like putting blocks in its way. And then, you must have it completed by the time it reaches the other end of the conveyor belt. Something like that. It's a very defined one goal sort of thing there. And it's funny because I was finishing some of the levels and then I was going back and watching some of the YouTube videos just to see what other people had done. And you gradually are handed, the parts to the factory as you go through the levels. One of the levels was the guy was given the new part, but he didn't realize it at the time. So he's like, well, how do you do this? Because if you have the new part, it works quite easily. He didn't realize he had the new part, so he spent, and I watched him for like 25 minutes just trying to figure this out the entire time, going like, if you just look at your part list, if you see the new part, it'll be...
I hate that.
And then afterwards...
You have everything you need, but you don't realize it.
Yeah. So then he finishes the level through this entirely complicated and convoluted solution, but he actually solves it without actually using the new piece. And then it goes back to the screen where all the puzzles are. And it said like puzzle, and then it has like new block, and it listed the new block that he had gotten from that. And then it goes to the next puzzle, and he's looking, and he's like, wait a second, I had that? I had that? And he goes back to the level and he starts it up and he looks, he's like, oh, well, son of a bitch.
Well, that makes it so much easier.
But still, it was funny just watching him like solve the puzzle in a completely out of the box way and still actually beat the game.
Yep.
So yes, Infinifactory, yes, it is Space Chem. It is small little factory type puzzles.
I was bad at Space Chem.
Well, then you'll probably suck at this.
Okay.
Because there were actually a couple of times, because I have beaten Space Chem.
Yep.
There were a couple of times where I'm going through a level going, wait a second, I've done this puzzle in my head in Space Chem, which Space Chem is 2D, right? This is actually 3D. So there are a couple of times where you actually have to stack things on top of each other, but I haven't gotten any sort of vertical conveyor belts. I've only gotten horizontal conveyor belts, so I actually have to move things around on different levels.
Like drop them off of...
Yes, drop them off of cliffs and edges so they stack up on top of each other correctly.
Like my car.
Wow, that was a big circle.
Yeah.
Like a wheel that's hanging over the edge and not connected to anything.
Yep.
But there were a couple of times where in my head going like, I remember doing a puzzle like this.
In Space Chem.
And I'm like, what did I do in that puzzle? And I'm thinking back and I'm like, oh, okay. There's one where you have to divide things up into 2 groups of 3 and a group of 4. And I was trying to do the dividing because it all comes out of one output. So like, how do you tick back and forth to 2 groups of 3 and a 4? And that doesn't work. Until I remembered looking at it, it's like, oh yeah, there's a time where you could do a group of 3 and then a group of 2 and then do a group of 3 and then a group of 2 and then a group of 3 and a group of 2. And then you could build the thing together so that those 2 groups of 2 suddenly become the group of 4. In my head, it made sense. And I was like, I remember doing this puzzle. And then I just quickly did it out there. And so far, I haven't seen many people in the videos that I've seen do it the way that I did it. And I was like, oh, wow, you guys didn't play Space Chem, did you?
Maybe they did.
I don't know. But yes, no, Infinifactory, I'm running it on my laptop, so it's not that heavy of graphics. But yes, no, it's a small little factory puzzle game.
Yeah.
Right now it's $25 for it, which to me that'd be a bit steep. I'm glad I picked it up for free. But the subreddit for it, say every once in a while, there's a lot of those, game websites that, like humble game type game websites where, they normally have it down for like $12. So If you played Space Chem and you enjoyed Space Chem, then I would say get this because this is literally like the spiritual successor to Space Chem. If you didn't like Space Chem,
electronics game, so there's the like histograms at the end.
Yes, there is the classic histograms of size, cycles, and what's the footprint, cycles, and what's the third one? There's 3 of them in there, and I can't remember what the third one is.
There's usually a cost one.
Well, the cycles is how many ticks. The footprint is how many horizontal squares you're covering. And, the third one is the number of blocks used. So there's a footprint run, and then there's also a total number of blocks used.
Because you could use blocks inefficiently.
Yes.
I see.
So far, I've been with the majority. I haven't found any good outliers yet, but we'll see. Like I said, I still got like halfway through this game. And there's, because you're abducted by aliens, there are other people who have been previously abducted by aliens who have failed, and they have little failure logs. So you get it. Yeah. So you get some interesting ones there. There was one where it was all in, Chinese, because they've tried, these aliens have tried abducting everybody. At one point, I think they abducted a dog, which surprisingly that did not go well.
That's adorable.
Yeah. But there was one in Chinese that I actually, I couldn't understand it. So I actually had I turned on the subtitles, which were in Chinese. And then I put on my Google Lens to do the translation for it so I could actually read what the person was saying in Chinese. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Was it helpful?
No, it was not helpful. It was just, fun backstory for this character.
Oh, okay.
But still, it was just like, oh, you're giving me something in Chinese. Well, let's see how I can figure. So it was like a meta puzzle. It's like, how can I figure this out? We'll turn on subtitles, and then we'll have Google read the subtitles and translate it for me on the fly. So yes, Infinifactory. Sorry, that was a tangent.
Okay, that's fine.
Space Chem. If you like it, yes. If you don't like Space Chem, this is a no.
I'd kind of be curious to see you play some of the other Zachtronics games like the Shenzhen.io or Exapunks. The ones that are like more coding heavy. Especially Shenzhen.io, which it's coding, but it's coding in like assembly.
Do I have that on Steam?
I don't know. Build circuits, write code, RTFM.
I swear I've seen this. I might have it on. I don't want to open up Steam right now because, of course, Steam would then update and then slow my system to a crawl.
Your computer, yeah.
But I think I might have that. Or do I have it through Good Old Games? I don't remember. But I think I've seen that one, but I'm not sure. But anyway, random review, Infinifactory. Random topic.
Fun.
Rolled ahead of time. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiago? My answer? Queens, New York.
Why do you say Queens, New York?
Why do I say Queens, New York? Because that is the studio complex where in the world is Carmen Sandiego was filmed. Fun fact, same studio complex where Sesame Street was filmed. Or actually, I think Sesame Street is actually still filmed there. There is a studio in New York. It's actually one of the only studios in New York that has an actual backlot in the city. It's in Queens, New York. Let's see if that's still where... is that still where it is? Since 1993, Sesame Street has been taped at the Kaufman Astoria Studios in Queens, New York.
So here's the thing, though. The Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego kids game, TV game, like the PBS Carmen Sandiego, isn't the most recent version of the show. There was also a cartoon, and then there was a reboot of the cartoon.
I remember watching the cartoon on Fox. That was like the one time I got up early on Saturday morning so I could go downstairs and watch Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego on Fox, because of course they put the most educational cartoon shows at frickin' early o'clock.
Yeah, of course.
Man, I remember that.
My point is the new animated series, the newest animated series, which is on Netflix, is gonna be, who made that? Produced by Houghton Mifflin Harcourt with Wild Brains serving as the production company. So Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, Boston, Massachusetts. Production companies, Wild Brain Studios and HMH Productions. That's Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. And Wild Brain Studios is in Vancouver, British Columbia. So probably Vancouver, honestly, given like how much animation comes out of there.
All right, so I see the Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego. That was the old cartoon. What's the name of the new Where on?
Just Carmen Sandiego TV series.
All right, so I'm in
available on Netflix.
I'm in the Carmen Sandiego video game series, which I actually, no joke, I'm staring at, there's a folder on my desktop called Carmen, which is the Where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego game. I could, no joke, play Where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego right now, which that game, such a pain in the butt towards the end if you get the top level detective, because you have a random chance of getting Carmen Sandiego at the top level, but still it's just like I have to slog. Anytime it was a masked male, I'm just like, nope, reset. Don't have time to catch no boy.
Yep.
I would like a female masked, villain, please. So started it in New York, now in Canada.
Yeah. Oh, wow. There's 4 seasons of this show. I only watched the first couple episodes. Apparently, they've kept it going.
Oh, this is an interesting style of animation.
Right?
Well, that is interesting. Oh, it's just called Carmen Sandiego. Okay.
Yeah, not Where in the World is.
No.
But it's worth a watch. You potentially could watch it with your kids.
I will have to.
I don't know what the rating is. Where's the certificate? TV Y7.
Okay. I could see if Isaac would be interested in that.
Violence and gore. In the last episode of Season 2, in a flashback, a man is shot and killed off screen.
I mean, Isaac was having us watch One Piece, so...
Yeah. Probably not really concerned about that, though.
Which now he's not on One Piece anymore. He's on Pokemon, but...
Ooh.
Yeah. No, I need to get...
I want to be the best.
Well, he's interested in the Pokemon cards, but not in the actual card game. He's just interested in the collecting of them.
Yeah.
So that's some interesting YouTube videos. People showing up at a convention going like, I'm going to try and collect this entire series, this entire set, by the time this convention closes. And I'd be like, oh boy, how many thousands of dollars are you going to spend?
A lot.
Not including all the trades that he did either, which he doesn't put in the cost of the trades. And I'm like, well, the trades have a monetary value. You could probably look it up. There are apps for that.
Sort of. I mean, the trades are worth what the person considers them to be worth.
Yep. No, he was talking to, there were 2 of them recently that I saw where the guy was looking, because he was doing a doctorate for education. And so he was trying to basically collect any Pokemon cards that had any sort of academic twist to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. The guy was like, that is a collection that I have not heard of before. So he went through, this thing there, and he was finding, as he was looking for the cards that he needed, anything that had an academic theme to it, he was picking that up as well to help trade for this guy. And there was somebody else who was looking for specifically Magikarp and Gyarados cards. That was it. That was his theme, was Magikarp and Gyarados. So, but yeah, no, that's another tangent. Ooh, we were not on topic for most of this episode.
That's fine. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Where in the world were we during this?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We're somewhere.
We're on the Ethernet. Well, on that note, we should probably call it because I want to go to bed.
Okay.
So that's a wrap. This has been another episode of the Random Access Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, suggestions, remarks, reviews, rebukes, retorts, or just rants, feel free to contact us. You can find us on Twitter at RAPodcast, or send us an email at mail@rapodcast.net. Thank you for listening.